my name is Anna Maria. I'm so glad you're here. Today I want to take you with me to one of the most unforgettable places I've ever been, to Rome. After years of studying art history, writing essays, memorizing dates and names, there was always one dream I held on to see the masterpieces not in books but in real life. So we planned the trip. But just as everything was coming together, the Pope's health got worse and he passed away. The Sistine Chapel was closed and I checked the news every day wondering, will we get to go? Then finally, white smoke, the new Pope was elected, Pope Leo XIV. The Sistine Chapel was reopened and we booked our tickets immediately and we flew to Rome. So now I will take you with me through Rome's greatest artistic treasures. So the first place you should visit is, of course, the Vatican Museum. If you're planning a visit, here's one important tip. Book the tickets with a guide 3 weeks in advance. As single tickets were impossible to get due to the overwhelming influx of tourists, we ended up purchasing the pricey guided tour through the official website. But what luck it turned out to be, we had a guide, her name is Mira. She is from Germany and she brought history to life. I had the feeling that every sculpture, every paint got alive after her. She did not recite facts. So if you speak German, make sure your guide has to have the name Mira. One of the first works we saw was the Laocoön group. You walk into the room and there they are, Laocoön and his sons, locked in agony, wrapped in the coils of sea serpents. Their bodies twist, their faces scream, the marble feels alive. It's not just a sculpture, it's a cry, frozen in time. Just a few steps away stands the famous Belvedere torso. Incomplete, muscular, defiant. Michelangelo adored this fragment. Pope Jules II asked him to finish it. Michelangelo refused. It's already perfect, he said. And you know what? He was right. It's already perfect. Then we moved into the Raphael rooms. You pass through richly decorated corridors and suddenly you enter the school of Athens. Plato and Aristotle stand at the center of a perfect architectural space surrounded by philosophers and thinkers, many of whom bear the faces of Raphael's own contemporaries. Michelangelo is there, Leonardo, even Raphael himself. I had seen this fresco so many times in books, but seeing it in real life was unforgettable. And then the moment I had dreamed of for years was the Sistine Chapel. You enter in silence. Of course it was crowded, but it was something, divine. And you hear, of course, the voices of the security men saying, "Silencio, silencio." But seeing the creation of Adam, that nearly touching hand, it feels like a heartbeat suspended in air. And turn your gaze to the right, you see the Last Judgment. It is chaotic, terrifying, magnificent. It covers the entire wall. It depicts Christ and the final judgment of soul. A powerful dramatic vision of salvation and damnation. Christ stands at the center, radiating authority, surrounded by saints and angels, while the resurrected souls rise or fall according to their fate. It remains one of the most awe-inspiring and spiritual works of Renaissance art. I remember vividly when we sat there, I think we sat there for 40 minutes, we saw the ceiling, all the prophets, the prophet Joel, the prophet Daniel, and Jeremiah. They were all there. And seeing also Lilith, the first wife of Adam, who was cast out and forgotten. It was a dream come true.
Eggplant, hummus, pickles, salad, it is spicy, harissa, baba ganoush, tahini. Thank you.
Tucked away near Piazza Navona, there is a church that many tourists walk past without realizing what's inside. From the outside, you see San Luigi dei Francesi. It looks modest, classical, and quiet. The church is beautiful with gold and marble. And if you look to the left, there in a small chapel are three of Caravaggio's greatest works. The Cantarelli Chapel. It's dedicated to Saint Matthew. And here Caravaggio tells his story in paint. In the center is the inspiration of Saint Matthew. A barefoot angel descends, guiding Matthew's hand. It's intimate, almost tender, a moment of divine clarity captured in earthy tones. To the left, the calling of Saint Matthew. A group of men gathered at a table, and then the famous beam of light. Christ points toward Matthew. And in that moment, something shifts. The divine enters. On the right, you see the martyrdom of Saint Matthew. Chaos, violence, and in the background, Caravaggio, himself watching, painting himself into the story. Above, you can see the baptism in Ethiopia. What struck the most was the rawness. They were not distant, idolized saints. They were human, fragile, and real. And standing there in the chapel, it was more powerful than being in a museum. So the next one you should visit is, of course, the Galleria Borghese. The museum is located inside the Villa Borghese garden, and as an extra surprise, you will find famous authors like Pushkin, the favorite Russian writer of my mother. And as an extra surprise, there was also Gogol, who wrote his famous book, The Dead Souls. He loved Rome. Inside the museum, I was completely enchanted. You are greeted by the famous sculpture, The Rape of Proserpina by Bernini. The marble is so detailed, you can see Pluto's fingers pressing into Proserpina's thigh. It's alive. My personal favorite sculpture there was Apollo and Daphne, the moment when she transforms into a tree. You see her feet turning into roots, her fingers becoming branches. It's poetic, heartbreaking at the same time. Bernini David is here too, full of tension and motion. And Pauline Bonaparte by Canova, reclining like Venus. The sculpture has become the symbol of the Galleria Borghese. It represents Napoleon's sister, Pauline. From the beginning, this work was intended to become an object of veneration. The most famous European artists had portrayed the most beautiful woman. She was 25 years old and she was so admired by many men with her body. When it comes to paintings, Caravaggio dominates, of course, the Galleria Borghese. There you will see Saint Jerome writing, the one who translated the Bible. This painting is one of the most important paintings by Caravaggio. And you know what's so interesting? When we were in the second floor, there was a painting that my mom saw. It was Lot and his daughters. In the beginning I thought it was a painting by Caravaggio, but it was not. It tells the story when Lot and his daughters, they were the only people who survived Sodom and Gomorrah. We were so happy seeing this painting. Make sure to see these paintings there in Galleria Borghese. And then, one of the most famous places, is one of the most iconic places of Rome, is the Trevi fountain. You hear it before you see it. The sound of rushing water echoing off the stone. Then you turn to the corner and suddenly there it is. Massive, baroque, alive. The central figure is Okeanos, the god of water, standing tall in his chariot pulled by seahorses. It was more than I expected. Yes, it was crowded. There were many tourists, and I had the feeling that it was too much of a crowd. And children throwing the coins and lovers sharing a kiss. My advice is go early in the morning or really at midnight. I know that there is a tradition in the famous Trevi fountain. If you throw a coin, you will return to Rome. And if you throw 2 coins, you will find love. And if you throw 3 coins, you will get married. So if you ask me if I throw something, no. There was no way I could go down. Rome is not just a city, it's a conversation between present and past. Every sculpture, every painting, and every street corner had something to say. I hope this video gave you a glimpse of this beautiful city. And because of the pickpockets, of course, one should always be cautious of pickpockets. But we had a very remarkable experience. My mom, she left her bag in the taxi. And it was actually after we visited Santa Maria Maggiore, when he dropped us off at our apartment. It had everything in it. The video camera, the phone of my mom, money, documents, the whole life was there. We were absolutely horrified. I thought this was the end. I started calling my mother, which caught the driver's attention, and he came like a messiah in 10 minutes. We were so thankful, and so don't assume that everything that in Italy suggests is as bad as the warnings are saying. No, it's not. There are so many honest people, and I'm so grateful to God and to everyone there. Yeah, and that was it. I hope this video could give you a glimpse And I see you in another video. Bye.